What is good, everyone? OJ over here from PlayerEssence, and welcome to another PE Nintendo Switch news video. Today we've got a bunch of great information for you ninjas, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. The Yacht Club Games has said that the Nintendo Switch is light years ahead of the Wii U, and they had Shovel Knight up and running in a week. So this is coming from lead programmer and studio co-founder David D'Angelo. Quote, Nintendo first came to us, they said, we have something coming. No, we can't tell you what it is, but if you have something around this time, then that would be great. They do a pretty good job of keeping us in the loop in case our projects line up. I would say the Switch is light years ahead of Wii U. It's incredibly easy system to develop for, even compared to other consoles. So he's probably talking about PS4, Xbox One. The biggest unknown for us is, this is a launch title, so you don't really have an idea of how people are going to be playing it, how they're going to be using the system, what the conventions of the use are going to be. So you try to do guesswork and figure out what those are going to be. Even when Nintendo doesn't even know how people will interact with the system, that's the real tricky part about developing for it. So it seems like the process was really easy, although there was some guesswork, just kind of understanding like what the hook of the system was going to be. But I think it all turned out great because at this point, Yacht Club Games doesn't have to do two different versions like they have to do with the Wii U and the 3DS when it comes to Shovel Knight. Heck, they just have one version they can put out on the Nintendo Switch, and they don't have to worry about any type of future dedicated 100% portable or dedicated 100% home console. At this point, they can put out their best foot forward. They got Treasure Trove on there, has a bunch of new content, really good stuff with the Plague of Shadows and the Spectre of Torment put onto there for $24.99. I think that's a fantastic price and provides great content and new content for Nintendo Switch users. And I think that it was a good idea, just talking about the launch lineup and all of that. A lot of people have talked about it being kind of like lacking, and for me, I bought 3 games. Well, I got 2 games and then I got 1 game for a review code, but I would have bought it anyway, which was Fast RMX. So if I'm buying 3 games at launch, Bomberman, Legend of Zelda, and of course Fast RMX, I think that's a pretty good launch just for me. But I do think one of the biggest things that Nintendo did as far as improving the launch lineup was removing the actual ports from the Tomorrow Corporation of Little Inferno, World of Goo, and all of that, and actually inserting newer titles, which is Shovel Knight with Spectre of Torment, Plague of Shadows as the new DLC. Well, Spectre of Torment as new DLC, and then also having Fast RMX as a brand new game. So that is the Wii U version, but actually up-ported, native 1080p, 60 frames per second, better local multiplayer, online, and in addition to that, a bunch of new tracks and new racers. So you're getting better content with those indie games. So I really do like the fact that Nintendo went out there and reached out to these developers and made sure that they were at launch more than anything. And I'm actually looking forward to playing Shovel Knight Treasure Trove. I have not picked it up at this point, but I definitely will down the line and make sure I stream it for you guys. So the next thing that I want to do is talk about briefly about my Legend of Zelda Masters Edition unboxing. If you haven't seen it, please check it out on my channel, but I will show you guys just some of the cool things from it. This is the Master Sword that you get with it. Very high quality and has some nice weight to it, but please check out the full unboxing on my channel. That's actually already there. In addition to that, I also got this really nice carrying case, which is super nice. It's so good. So yeah, check out my unboxing if you want to see the full Masters Edition for the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. But moving on to the next bit here, we do have some Fast RMX details. So when I played it on my live stream the other day with Super Bomberman, a lot of us were really shocked to know that there was no friend racing, so you couldn't go into lobbies and race with your friends. Well, that will be addressed because the first update has been detailed, and Shinin Multimedia has announced via Twitter that they will have time attack. And in addition to that, they'll also have friend online support coming soon. And Shinin's actually pretty good when it comes to their updates. When they say that their updates are coming soon, that probably means it's going to be coming within the next week or so. That's one thing that was missing, was those friend races. We just couldn't get into lobbies so we can race against each other, and the game will be much better with that. So expect my review to come actually after that, probably after the time attack and after the online friend support is added in. So I'm already taking this long at this point. I might as well just wait till those are added in, and then I'll get those into my review once this is done. So yeah, pretty cool stuff there. Fast RMX is actually really fun. I really not big on racing games outside of like Mario Kart, and that's like a different type of racing game, but this racing game is actually really fun because it reminds me so much of F-Zero, but it has its own little flair to it as well. Alright, and lastly, GameStop says the Nintendo Switch was one of the strongest and most successful console launches in several years. Yes, that beats the Wii U, guys, for everyone saying that it's going to be the same thing as far as the launch goes. So this is coming from Eric Bright, Senior Director of Merchandising from GameStop. Quote, stores across the country last night were packed with customers who couldn't wait to get their hands on the brand new Nintendo Switch. We even had customers lining up as early as yesterday morning so they could be one of the lucky ones to score one of the additional units for our walk-in customers. This is one of the strongest and most successful gaming console launches for GameStop in the last several years. For those fans who are still looking for the Nintendo Switch, don't worry, we're getting more. And we're pretty sure that there are a lot of gaming fans who pulled all-nighters last night playing their new Nintendo Switch, and who also called in sick to work today with the game Fluenza, just to stay home and play even more. So yeah, I definitely had to make sure that I was able to play that as well. But yeah, this is definitely different because we did not see the same thing when it comes to Nintendo 3DS or the Wii U as far as the launch with GameStop. I know that they said, oh well, things were okay, but it just was not the same. I think it was pretty much guaranteed to have a successful launch because of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And when those reviews came out, it was pretty much, okay, everyone, who, if you didn't pre-order at that point, you were going to go camp out and wait for one once the review scores and everyone started praising how good The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is on the Nintendo Switch over the Wii U. Don't get me wrong, the Wii U version is still good. It's still a great game. It's the same game, but the Nintendo Switch version really packs the punch just because, of course, the little enhancements that they do have into there, but also the different ways that you can play it. Whereas with the Nintendo Switch, it becomes a portable game and it's a console game. So once gamers saw that, especially if you have a Wii U and 3DS, or if you just have a 3DS, I think that's what pushed a lot of people to just say, okay, well, I need to go out there, buy The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, buy the Nintendo Switch. But I also think the successful launch is not just the consoles, but it's other things as well. People have talked about the Amiibo. A lot of people, when I was actually buying The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild at Best Buy, so many people were buying all of the Amiibo. They had all of the Amiibo pre-ordered. They had all sorts of stuff. They had the special editions. They had the Masters edition. So it just goes more than just the actual game. It's actually the product around it. So we're talking about the toys with the Amiibo. We're talking about the carrying cases, the Masters edition that I have here. We're talking about everything. The launch was massive. And when you talk about revenue, I'm just thinking about all the copies that were sold. And when you talk about all the Amiibo that were sold, all the special editions and master editions that were sold, this game probably made, oh my gosh, maybe it made like $1 billion or something. I have no clue when we just consider all of the revenue with the Nintendo Switch and the game and all the merchandising. I mean, it's probably a lot, guys. I wouldn't be shocked to hear that it's made near that. I mean, I know it made a lot. So we will see what happens. And I think that, yeah, just having GameStop come out and say this is definitely different, and it's a positive thing compared to like with the Wii U, where they're just kind of like, oh well, yeah, it did come out, it did okay, but you still saw stacks of them at GameStop. I remember going into my GameStop the day of, and I still saw Wii U's just chilling there. So people still didn't even get all of the walk-ins that were in there. People were able to walk up and get it. Not only that, but when I went to go buy my Nintendo Wii U, there was only 25 people in line. There was only 25 people in line. Even at the Best Buy, I think there was around 45 people at the Best Buy. So that was definitely not good. Whereas with the Nintendo Switch, there were hundreds of people in line at my Best Buy. Hundreds of people. And at GameStops, I know at the big GameStop down the street from there, there was around 200 to 300 people in that one. So definitely very different from what we saw with the Wii U as far as the launch goes, because you have that strong launch title with The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. That really pushed things more. And on top of that, like I said, it does appeal to both fan bases. You have the Nintendo 3DS owners out there. In addition to that, you also have the Nintendo Wii U owners out there that are all looking at this device because it does two things in one, plus all of the cool merchandising like I talked about and all of that. I'm hooked. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is probably the best game that I've ever played at this point. If it continues to be as good as it is, and I haven't even really dug into the story yet, but if it continues on this track, it's already top 5, and it could be number 1. It could surpass like Mass Effect 2 and Super Mario Bros. 3 and Galaxy. It's really looking like it's going to surpass those. This game is absolutely phenomenal. If you don't have it, get a Nintendo Switch and play it. And the reason why I say get a Nintendo Switch and play it is because, to me, there's no more reason in investing in Wii U, just because there's no more games. I mean, you could play it on Wii U, like I said. It works perfectly fine on there. It's still good. But to me, if I'm going to invest my money into a system, it's going to be into a system that's actually continuing. So for me, I want the Switch version so I can play it anywhere, and also I can invest my money with the game that I'm going to be playing on a system that I'm going to be playing throughout the years, not a system that's not getting any more games. So awesome launch for Nintendo. Great stuff with GameStop here, and hopefully they can continue that that, but I think it will because we do have a good lineup of games coming out with indie titles in between, and the next big title is in April 28th with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which should do very well. Alright guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and hit that like button if you did like it. Let me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future, and subscribe to PlayerEssence for the latest news, reviews, discussions, and more. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you ninjas for the next video. Peace.